the institution that you are in, and your expectations towards this event. When you received the invitation, what was your expectations? And I hope we shall be able to achieve those expectations. I don't know whether to start in front here or the back, at the back. Abel. And then you'll give out round.
Thank you and good morning all. My name is Abel To. I work for KALRO, and my expectation today is that I'd like to know the feedback and the perception of all of us towards the technology that we are going to discuss. Thank you.
Morning, everyone. My name is Willie Sogutu. I'm from Bayer, and my expectation is, of course, to engage with policymakers and the researchers to just learn the new kind of information that we need to take home as industry players. Thank you.
Morning, everyone. My name is Elias Ouma. I'm an advocate. My expectation today is to meet science in the farms. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning. My name is David Ngovi. I work for KALRO. My expectation is to hear the feedback from the other members of this team, what is happening in the field. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Dr. Daniel Irog Juguna from the Director of Veterinary Services. I'm eager to know how this project is going to impact to Kenyans in as far as food security is concerned.
Hello, how are you guys? My name is Dr. Omondi Ernest. I represent the Pest Control Products Board, and I hope to get an intricate understanding of the newly developed technology, particularly in matters the glyphosate that has been included. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Dr. Joyce Ngure from the State Department for Science, Research and Innovation. And today I want to see, touch, and feel the maize so that I can tell people it's there. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Gerald Masila from the Eastern Africa Grain Council. My expectation, again, is to get to see the technologies and understand the key aspects about it so that we're able to share this with our members of the EAGC. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Evans Njero. I work for Bayer. My expectation is that we are going to have a good understanding on the technological solutions that are being developed and how they are able to address the end users' needs. And by end users here, I mean the farmers who are the target for these technologies.
Good morning once again. I'm David Mutiku. I work with the Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock in Kitui County. My expectation is to understand more about this technology and how it's going to impact on food production back in our county, or rather, what, of course, we shall now go back and tell the farmers about this technology.
Good morning. My name is Peter Mwencha from Aga Khan University. My expectation is to learn more about new variety and its implications both from policy and the sector in general. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Joseph Wu from the State Department of Agriculture. My expectations is to learn more about the technologies in agriculture and how they impact on food security and nutrition.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Njoki Mukiri. I work for NEMA. And of course, my expectation is to see how this technology will interact with the environmental regulations that we have in the country.
So, good morning. I'm Josephat Moshidi. I work with the National Biosafety Authority. We are basically a regulator of GMOs. So we are the ones who receive these applications for BT maize. And once we do the assessment, we give the permit so that the technology developers can go and do the tests. So I say thank you very much.
Good morning. I'm Ivan Obare. I work with KEFIS. My expectation is I want us to engage, share, and learn from each other. And as you understand very well, KEFIS is the relevant regulatory authority that supports National Biosafety Authority when it comes to matters to do with this technology, and we're involved in the various stages of these technologies up to the release of variety. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Nora Kutan, and I just want to learn more about the technology. Thank you.
Morning, my name is Patrick Maluko from Bayer. My expectation is to do with further engagement and learn what's happening within the biotech space. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Sarah from Bayer. So my expectation is once we see and interact with the technology at the trial site, we will become better food champions when we go back to our areas where we operate. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Dr. Roy Mugira from Africa Agriculture Technology Foundation. We facilitate the deployment of technologies to the last mile. After our friends Karanja and KEFIS and NBA has dealt with it, we want to see it get to the hands of the farmer. My expectation, I will be moderating the session on a panel session. So my expectation is that my questions will be adequately answered. Thank you.
Good morning. Yeah, my name is James Karanja, working for the Kenya Agricultural Livestock Research Organization. I've been the PI and the coordinator for the technology, both what we will be seeing and what has also have taken place there before. And my expectation is that by the end of the day, we should come up with a strategy. Now that you have already understood the technology, after you understand the technology, so we should come up with a strategy on how we should avail the product to our farmers. Thank you.
Yeah, good morning. My name is Julius Nyabicha from the Cereal Growers Association, CGA. CGA is part of we are co-conveners. We've had roundtable 1. This is roundtable 2, which is a field visit. We shall have a third one. My expectation is that even as we meet as experts, we should now start crafting messages on how we communicate uniformly, especially as we communicate to farmers.
Thank you, Julius. And my work has been made easy now. All of us have understood the objectives of what we are going to be expected to meet at this point. What I said at first is that the reason why I said it is very historical is because this is the first research of its kind that is being done. And this is the first engagement, external engagement that KALRO is having. And our expectation was the CEOs of the institutions that we shall be working closely towards meeting the expectations of KALRO in ensuring that this technology reaches to the farmer. We started with the institutional CEOs, and this forum, actually, we are going to elevate it as CEOs forum. So you were sent by your CEO, you are representing your CEO, and I know most of you are representing your CEOs because you are the one who crafted those letters to the CEOs. That means you are going to raise that discussion to a level of policy institutions and ensure that we meet the expectation of what we are expecting this trial to meet. We were expecting all the CEOs to be here today, including our CEO, and he has sent also representative. And I want to believe that also he's going to speak on his behalf, take the feedback to the CEO as it is. I know we are going to have the way forward. That way forward is what is going to form the discussion in your institutional engagement when you go back. We don't want just to come here, finish, and just go ordinarily. And we want to hear also the feedback from your CEO after you have discussed with him. What is his opinion? And we are taking it that high because we want to be serious with this technology. We don't want to test water. We want to really walk the talk up to the end of this trial. This is the experimental level. We are at a really initial level. And when James will be taking you through, you'll be able to understand, and we shall be able to have a discussion at the end of his presentations, and even also to the visit to the farm, to the field, to the CFT. And I know we are expecting still some stakeholders from the counties. We are expecting stakeholders from Kitui County, stakeholders from Makueni County, and a stakeholder from Machakos County. They are very critical. At least we are lucky to have one of our own from county. You know, you cannot discuss matters of food in the absence of a county representative. And at this point, we can say we are at home. Even if you are one, we are expecting more to come to join us so that we can really have a real discussion where farmers are going to have what they really expect. Yesterday in KALRO, we were receiving our new DG. And what we were informed by the board, my colleagues are here. If our technologies that we are developing cannot be felt by the farmers, then there is no reason of us taking that research. We might have taken it as a threat or as a something, but that is the truth. If we are doing research, and because the mandate of KALRO is to develop research, which can be adopted in the country, then we are not sincere. And if we are also developing the technologies that our policy makers on both sides, the low level and the high level, are not going to accept these technologies, that means we are not working. And they should tell us, can we leave this research? Because, for example, Martin is heading a very huge institution in KALRO called Biotech, serving the whole country. If Martin is heading, being paid by the wananchi in this country through the taxpayers, he has a number of staff to develop technologies, and those technologies are not being adapted in the country, then they should tell us we are irrelevant in this country and send us away maybe to go and do other things. Equally to universities. If we are producing university graduates who have done biotech, applied biology, chemical analysis or something, those areas, and you are telling us that we are not going to adapt these technologies in the country, what are we doing? We are not being fair to ourselves. So this forum is actually for technical advisors who are supposed to advise the policy makers to really rethink around what we are going through along the country, along the food generation in this country, because they have been pushing us for climate smart technologies, pushing us to really see around. The land is not going to increase. Now they are building buildings everywhere, and the food, likewise, is going to increase. What are we going to feed these people who are living in those houses if the food is not going in parallel with the structures? So, as the other things are expanding in our country, the food system also needs to change by introducing other technologies which can be able to be produced without so much challenge, but meet the growth of this country. I think at this point, I'll not want to take much because what Martin will be talking. He's my CEO now. I'll just go straight away and really welcome you in this place. Just like I said, my name is Dr. Florida Maritim. I work in KALRO, and when I here, I stand as one of the coordinators of this event to ensure that the objectives and the stakeholder engagement that we look up to for more support is met. It is not very, what I say, the technology is unique, but the engagements that we are going to have, let's think, what is it that we are going to do new that we have not done in other projects that it can improve where we are going? I thank God because Dr. Roy has been in the environment and is the one who is moderating. So he'll be able to tell us what is it that he's going to do so that we can change the conversation in this country and move smoothly without having those bumps that the scientists have been throwing. You know, when the scientists throw those bumps, you always see those bumps. You always know that the next thing that is coming is a bump, a corner, a hill. We don't want to see in this research. So let's hope that, since this one is the first engagement with stakeholders, we hope it will be a smooth ride. We hope that we shall go to the end without so much bumps. Otherwise, I want to thank you so much for coming. And at this point, we have done the introduction, and I have just seen one of our colleagues who have just entered. Kindly allow me, even if he is late, just introduce yourself, the institution that you are coming from, and the expectations of when you receive the invitation. What were your expectations? Karibu sana.
Hello, good morning. First of all, I wish to tender my apology. Nimekuja Google Maps kanipeleka the other side of Ote Road, so I potea kabisa. So, my name is Daniel Wangombe. I'm representing Caritas Nairobi, actually on behalf of my director, Father Peter Kiari.
Thank you.
Thank you.
At least we are balanced now. You've heard that he's also a religious person. So we are represented on that high level. Tulisema, tukienda, we take the report to that high level, because the discussion, you will speak as your boss today when you are here, not yourself. You imagine your boss, what will you be expecting? Kama hataki maneno, tusema hapa. Na kwa nini hataki? Alafu tukirudi, unaenda unamwambia sasa vile tulienda, tumediscuss, I've been convinced based on this, and this is the way to go. Yes. Kama atakubali, akuambie ndamekubali, ama kama la, akuambie sasa which is the next, because the next meeting that we are going to have is the feedback from your CEOs. We are going to have another round table. You heard Julia saying we are going to have another round table. We will want to hear the feedback so that we can decide whether James is going to go to the NPT or is not going to go. Ama ni aje James? Yes. I want to take this chance also to now welcome a representative from Bayer. We say private sectors are very important in our country. They are very key towards food security. And having Bayer with us is not just an ordinary meeting. We take it very serious, we appreciate, and we'll always look forward to work with them. So Bayer representative.
Good morning once again. My name is Evans Njero, as I had earlier introduced myself for the sake of our colleague who has just come in. I work for Bayer company. Our boss is yet to arrive, or is Nadine here? Not yet. So she was to join us. She is the head of Bayer Africa Regulatory Sciences, which is part of the function that is involved in technology development as part of Bayer's activities. She should be joining us, but I'm standing in for her in her absence. I'm sure you've gotten introduction of other Bayer colleagues who are already here, Willis, Sarah, and Patrick, who are also critical in these activities. Before I make my remarks, just allow me to just give a short story. The day before yesterday, I was just walking along the streets of Nairobi, and I saw a lady selling raw cassava. Where I come from, we don't cook cassava, we eat it raw, especially the sweet one. And I developed the urge actually to eat the cassava. First, I physically looked at it and I saw it was good cassava from my experience with the tubers. And then I approached the lady and I selected one. As she was, peeling it off, we got into a discussion and I asked her, where did you get this cassava? And this is the answer she gave me. From Uganda. And I asked her, from Uganda? Yes. Why not from Kenya? And she told me, Kenya, the type of cassava they have is not very good. I don't know for what reasons. And she also told me, it doesn't grow big. That is another reason she gave me. Then I asked her, but Western Kenya, I see quite a number of cassavas are coming from there. And she told me, that one is not good. Actually, it has poison. Maybe she was talking about cyanide levels of the cassava in that place. But you can see where the discussion is heading to a point of, this is a lady just on the streets, and she tells me the cassava she is selling in Nairobi streets, it is imported actually from Uganda. That speaks to, there would be a food security story. Bayer as an organization, we are an R&D company, as we know. We do research and development right from, concept discovery all the way to the market across the chain. And for that matter, actually, we are organized into 3 divisions in the interest of those people who are here, so that we understand actually why we are in this partnership as an innovation company. We have the pharmaceuticals division that develops human drugs for prescription. Please note that, prescription purposes. Then we have consumer health, which also develops medicines that are usually sold over the counter drugs. And then we have the crop science division that is involved with, development of not only seed. I know people know about seed as far as crops are concerned, but we develop seed, yes. We also develop traits, or what we are going to discuss here is one of those traits or some of those innovations that help in terms of making sure that the seed that we've developed, grows to the expected, end. And also we have what we call crop protection or chemicals that goes into managing the pests and diseases for the seed that we develop, which becomes the crops later. And with that also we have what we call digital solutions, as in a package to help, farmers, the entire chain of crop management. Digital solutions, as you know, we are in the era of technology across board. When you talk of precision agriculture, in that space, we are also well positioned. So basically, you can see where we are seated at the intersection of all these. And I think it would be in your interest to understand our vision. Bayer's vision is health for all and hunger for none. And you cannot talk of health and divorce food and nutrition out of it. As they say, actually, there is an adage that says, food is medicine. And therefore, we consider ourselves actually among the few companies, if any, that would cut across the section of, human drugs, human food, into production of the food, all serving the 2 ends, health for all and hunger for none. And that's a commitment we've made as a company, and therefore, part of the reasons why we are here addressing the aspect of food, nutrition, and health. To us, they are not mutually exclusive. You need all of them to cater for that need as far as the human needs in today's times are concerned. And how do we do it so that we are able to have a good understanding? As a company, you've heard we are an R&D company, research and development. And we had a good discussion with my colleague from Kitui County there, David. And if the discussion we had within those 5 or so minutes is anything to go by, we do it by now forget about the pharmaceuticals, consumer health, and let's come into the crop science. The reason why we're here, even as I come to almost concluding my remarks. As Bayer, we normally do what we call, we offer tailored solutions. Tailored in the sense that they are able to meet the needs as they present themselves, not just for the sake of having, products out there for the sake of selling. Actually, we normally say we do not sell chemicals in bottles. We do not sell seed in a package. We actually sell tailored solutions. Solutions that meet the end user, the farmer, at that very need. And for that, we have the crop protection, we have the seed, we have the traits or the biotechnology that we offer, and then the digital solution that accompanies that one. And by that, we have a systems approach. We do not give a farmer a seed and we leave him just to struggle on how to manage that seed. That's why we are calling it a tailored solution to meet the very needs that surrounds that farmer or the end user. And the interesting part of it is that as we do that, hence the justification of this partnership, we don't do these things alone as Bayer. We do it through partnerships. It's not that we can't do it, or sometimes we can as well have limitations, but it is the right thing to do in today's times as far as working is concerned. Why partnerships? I'm saying I have the innovations, I have the discovery part of it because we have the capabilities to do that in terms of discovery of these technologies right from inception. But then into testing and development, we have players like KALRO who have got the infrastructure in place, the human resource in terms of scientists who are there, and therefore we bring them on board also to appreciate their expertise as far as delivering this product is concerned. And then going closer, I'm just giving you the reason why it's important to have these partnerships. We don't do it alone. Even as you do the product testing and development, you also bring on board regulators. You've had KEFIS is here, PCPB is here, National Biosafety Authority is here. You've had there are other players from different, government oversight institutions, NEMA, and others. Why is it so? It's because the technology we are talking about, biotech, is a regulated space. And everything that we work around that needs to comply with what are the provisions as far as this technology development is concerned and in terms of its approval. And you can see there's no way of running away from this partnership. NBA, KEFIS, and others may be regulators, but if you look at them from the other end, they are partners in their own right. And once you have the technology plus the product approved, then we can't just go in the market, single-handedly. You need the players like, CGA. They are like the extension guys out there trying to engage the end users. There is AATF, who is another partner in the whole story in terms of how do we access these technologies and have them rolled out to the end users. So you can see this is a trend that is cutting across different sectors. It's not only agriculture. It is the same. We do the same in health. We partner with the Ministry of Health as far as, pharmaceuticals are concerned.
whether it is drugs on cardio and others, or reproductive health. And therefore, it's not unique for agriculture, so that we wonder, why are we doing it here? And therefore, you as a player, you are important in, helping, kind of with the, I think they call it the last mile part of it. But before that last mile, we must have done what is needed in terms of regulatory requirements and everything else. And therefore, I wanted to bring that picture to understand why, as much as we would like to do it as Bayer, then we value the partnership that is brought by different players in different sectors, including lawyers. I think we had a legal mind here as well. We have religious people. There are congregants who normally need to have an understanding. And therefore, I think at the end of the day, we appreciate it's important to bring our various, interests, expertise together in terms of delivery of these products, these technologies, so that we are able to more or less carry everyone along. And therefore, in conclusion, I want to say, as Bayer, we appreciate the partnerships that we've had with you in different forms and shapes in various ways. And therefore, this is just a continuation probably of what is there. If you go to health, as I said, we have other partnerships that are there in terms of delivering the medicines and the drugs that we develop. When it comes to crops, this is part of it, and I'm glad it is a good cross-section of who matters in that value chain as far as dissemination of this technology. Once again, on behalf of Bayer's leadership, I want to say thank you and for having us on board. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Evans. We can really clap for him very nicely. Thank you. At this point, I don't want just to talk again much. I want to really request and invite the CEO of CGA to come and give his opening remarks.
Thank you, Florida, and good morning, everyone. Good morning. Excellent. So again, thank you. Just building on the comments that have been made by the two preceding speakers, Evans and Florida, let me say I'm grateful that we are all here, grateful that we are keeping on with this conversation. Remember the first meeting we had in Nairobi, we did mention that this was going to be a series of conversations that we shall sustain together for the sake of our country. And just building on the theme of telling stories, now that Evans was telling a story about cassava, let me refer us back to a story that was doing the rounds in the media, I think that was 2 days ago, where you would have seen comments to the effect that we're likely going to have a shortage of maize, and there were some directives that were being directed at farmers. And I represent farmers. And so that got close home. And so I got thinking about it. And I said it was as well that that conversation was happening at that very time, because then it quickly reminds us on the need to have these sort of conversations taking place. Because it tells you that as a country, as a farming community, we have challenges that we must address. Challenges that are leading us to exploring options of perennially importing what essentially is our main step of food, maize. And it wouldn't matter to me whether we are importing it from the Eastern African region or we are bringing it from overseas. The fact that we are at a point where we can have huge press conferences to have that sort of conversation, it means that what we are doing here is critical. And just looking at the institutions that are represented here, and by the way, if you have not counted, I did on your behalf. We have over 12 different institutions here. in my view, the most critical institutions in these sort of conversations. Many of them government, but also private sector. And it is important that we are having these sort of conversations. Some of us a few years ago would remember a statement that was put out in the political space. It was called the coalition of the willing. How many of us remember that? And I would believe that this is a coalition of the willing. People that want to see this country food secure. People that want to see this country prosperous. People who want to see this country different. A population that is better fed, a population that is healthier. And therefore, our pleasure as an organization, Cereal Growers Association, as co-conveners of this discussion, and also part of this conversation for many years. I was narrating the story of how we started this conversation. I think Roy was still around, and many of the people in this room were still around. And my desire, and I keep saying this, is to see us move from the talking to the action stage. Because there is very little that is unknown in this conversation. And even the controversy that sometimes we see taking place, it's in many cases not born out of ignorance. It is probably born out of other interests. But we do not have a problem with having those opposing views. They are all welcome because they are all part of the agenda that we must deal with. But then this conversation that we're having and the next part of the series is about facilitating a structured conversation so that even whether you oppose or you support, you're doing it from a point of knowledge and you're doing it in a structured manner so that as a country, we can move forward together. Obviously, you'd understand that where the rubber is going to meet the road is at the point of deployment. And I think Evans did mention something about that. Florida as well, when she talked about what they were getting as a challenge yesterday. It's true, we want technologies that make a difference. And therefore, it is important for us together as a team to ensure that the conversation and the ensuing communication that comes out of this, or the messaging that comes out of this, leads us to a point where in the eventual stage where we are deploying the technologies, we have an understanding that allows sustainability, that allows maximum utilization of the technology available to us to make our farmers more prosperous, even as we feed the nation. So finally, I want to say karibuni and hope that you're going to find the 400-kilometer round trip from Nairobi to this place, because I know many of us have come from Nairobi, worthwhile. It's a fairly long distance from Nairobi to here. And we're lucky that the weather looks friendly today. It can get hot here. And therefore, let it count for something. I'm hoping that you'll go back to Nairobi saying, yeah, it was hot, it was far, but it was worth it. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you, CEO. You can also really clap for him well. And CGA are doing quite good job introducing the technologies to farmers, and I know they have the voice in this country. And that is why Bayer and KALRO had to really partner with them to ensure that the voice of this technology is heard. We shall work with you closely to the end. And we believe that you are farmers, CEO. I know you have the biggest farmer population in the country. They will be among the first to benefit from these technologies. Thank you so much. And at this point, I really want to welcome my CEO representative, Dr. Martin Murigi, representing our DG. And you can take over the floor. And also really welcome us as the host institution.
Good morning. Are we on? Good morning once more. Good morning, CEOs.
was told all of you are CEOs, so so I want to appreciate the comments given by Evans from Bayer. So we appreciate the team from Bayer. We also have our CEO here from CGA, and the rest of the CEOs. Good morning once more. Yeah. So as KALRO, as I come to give these remarks on behalf of our Director General, who is quite new. So a good number of us might not be familiar, but he's called Dr. Patrick Etienne. I'm sure we are used to the previous DG, but soon I think we'll get to know who this person is. And I think it's a delight to always have new things, isn't it? New perspectives and new ways of doing things. Yeah. So I want to, first of all, to appreciate CGA for the work they are doing, for making us also meet here as an organization. If we only got 2 or 3 or more helping us in this space, I think, KALRO, most of our technologies would be with the farmers. Because actually that's the support we need in terms of being able to link the farmers with the research. Yeah. Because for us as a country, I don't know if there is my voice, we have very distinct institutions. We have research on one corner. You have academia. This I had, which university? Oh, Aga Khan University. You're on another corner, isn't it? You're on another corner doing your research and other activities. And then we have the extension, our county. You can see only represented here very minimally, although I'd called, well invited. Trying to do the extension on another one. Can you see where we are? So everybody is carrying out their own business, and we don't have a proper linkage in terms of how do we communicate. So I'm saying that so that we appreciate what CGA is doing, since they are directly linking with the farmers, and they can be able to bring all of us even on board, and we can be able to advise the farmer accordingly. And to give an illustration, probably now the stories. Tuliambiwa ni stories hapa tunapeana. And for us, we come from engaging with farmers. So that this farmer who inherited a very large piece of land. And there the soils were good. And at the first point, the guy went into farming with a lot of vigor. Planted, but there was no productivity. I mean, the productivity was very poor. He tried to change seeds from season to season, but still productivity was poor. And as usual, Kenyans, what do? You plant 2-3 seasons, it doesn't work, what do? So you throw away. And you go back to what you, and by giving a common story, especially for those who farm from Nairobi. You tried you tried 2-3 seasons and you threw the towel. Yeah, but a new one came. And the first thing the farmer did, that new one, was to go and talk to the workers and try and understand what happens. So they were able to tell them the challenges they were facing with the weather at the point of planting. They were able to tell him the challenges with different types of seed they had faced. Remember, they are planted different times. Some of the practices, they were able to say they were very new, they were not very conversant. So this new farmer was now wiser. So he was able to go to the market, understood even, first of all, the weather patterns, because that was a major challenge. Remember the climate change. The weather patterns were not very consistent. So he was able to go and learn how important it is to plant the right time. So how can you use the meteorological data to be able to plant the right time? he also went to the researchers and got to know the right seed for that place, for that kind of an environment. And then also he went to the market, because markets also have their demand. And I can tell you, even as KALRO, we have developed varieties, but when we take to the farmer, you find they have a different story. They have not refused to adapt, but the product is not meeting what the market want. And one of them, I think Dr. Karanja is here. There are those who plant maize for roasting. You see, those varieties have different tastes. So if you go with your new variety, it has these properties, and you are very excited, you go to the farm, the first thing they ask, can you roast it? And if you roast, how will it taste? Remember, the farmer is linking with the demand of on the ground. Yeah. So, and that farmer now was able, the next planting season, taking into account of all that, he was able now to get a bumper harvest. And then now, the farming, remember the first farmer gave up, the second farmer is the same farm, but now being successful. Just to your surprise, that's how farming is. And that's why most even farms are not succeeding. Because it's basically we are not going to the ground and seeing the totality of the ecosystem that is within that farm. What seeds do you need? When is the right time to plant? How is the market? What is the demand? If you get it right, then you're more likely to be successful. Yeah. So that's how when we meet here, even as stakeholders, representing different institutions, that is how we should be seeing the challenges that our farmer is facing. The most challenging thing is today we are changing our even training institutions into other things. The county I come from now, they are changing even the farmer training school into something else. I was asking myself, how are we going to train the farmers? The same county that is responsible for agriculture, but now they are transforming the same facility into something else. So let us be careful. Then I want just, as I close, re-emphasize the importance of this meeting. As stakeholders, especially in the regulatory space, because we were asked one of our expectations, that would be one of my expectations, is the regulators understand what scientists are doing. And we come from a premise we know science always is ahead of the regulations. And I think the previous CEO of NBA can tell you. There is no way they can set regulations for a science they don't know. So it's the science that comes first. We start even experimenting things, and then they come to ask us if it is okay. So we work backwards. We end up even now setting regulations to take care of the new science. And that is normal, it's global. That is normally what is expected. Yeah. So as regulators, we would appreciate that you take the science we are going to talk today with the mindset of being able to understand what it's all about, where we are coming from, and being supportive to us. Because we are all, our goal is to see that we change the livelihood of this farmer. As a regulator, as KALRO, as CGA, we are all interested in changing the livelihood or creating a sustainable livelihood of the farmer. So the best thing we can do is how do we see things in the same perspective. If it is about issues of glyphosate, good PCBB is here. Can we get the same understanding? Because there is a lot of misinformation out there. The same way with genetic modification, there is a lot of misinformation that is out there. So can we be able to see things from a similar perspective? And I believe if we get it right, then this meeting will be fruitful. So with those few and many remarks, on behalf of my DG, I want to declare the workshop officially open. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Daktari. Thank you so much. I think DG KALRO deserves a better clap, isn't it? Yes. Thank you so much. We don't want to take much time. We want to save on the time that we lost in the morning. And at this point, I want to welcome James. James is our scientist. He has been so much into maize that even he can sleep and wake up speaking maize. And he'll be able to tell you a very long story about maize. He doesn't know much about any other thing, but maize. Sure, James. Please take the podium.
Thank you very much, Dr. Florida. And thank you, team, for coming. And it's always a pleasure to, when you have the technology developer, when we have the scientists, when we have the regulators, when we have the communicators, when we have the farmers. Yoko is a farmer, by the way. So when you have all these team together, and even the religious leader, because I hear there is also a religious leader here, and even we have legal. So I think this is one of the forum that I can say it has integrated all these groups. And this is where we should, by the end of the day, Dr. Roy, we should come up with an answer. Why do we want to move? Because the regulator is here. He will tell us, are we doing things? Are we following the regulations? And also, the farmers are also here. Their spokespersons are here. The seed company is here. Bayer is a seed company. Those people do know. You know, Jero talked about Bayer as it has many hats, but it's also a seed company. And also, we are here also as a scientist. And we are also here as we have also the religious leaders and the legal team. So, if we, all of us, we are here, and all of us, we are speaking one language. You know which language we are speaking? One language. Today we are speaking one language. All of us, we are speaking one language. And I know, you can know, if you want to know we are speaking the same language, where is Sarah? You are the one organizing lunch. And 10 o'clock tea break. Tea, okay? So, as we move forward, so there will be not 10 o'clock tea, and there will be no lunch. Then you'll know these guys, they speak one language. You deny them tea and lunch. So, then you'll know. They will speak the same, they speak the same language. So, I think we are here, how do we make sure that we speak this one language? And it's very simple. We are also working for the nation. So by the end of the day, we should be able to have agreement. How do we need to move forward? Shida iko wapi? Kama hakuna shida, then where are we importing maize? Kama hakuna shida, why are we importing maize? We are importing maize because the kuna shida mahali. So do we have the solution for that? Ya hiyo shida. So anyway, I'm just going to take through. We are here because just chose to have maize because that is what we are going to see. And this one is trying to speak power of the technology. And I know we have products that are already there. And they should be in the market. And I am happy NBA is here. So sometimes I ask myself, Bwana Mushiri, do we have the approval for the 3 varieties? And you are seated together with Kefis. Can you tell us the 2 of you? We have the approval for the 3 varieties. Commercialization. for the BT Monet 10 varieties. Do we have the approval? Do we have the approval from KEFIS? So why are they not in the market if we have the approval? No, you tell us. You are the same. Because to me, sometimes I feel like we don't have the approval. Sorry? 3 varieties are approved. They are in the market. They should be in the market by now. Actually, we are supposed to be harvesting. Actually, some of them, they are supposed to be even in, we have maybe from July last year. And that approval bears Dr. Mugira's signature. And that approval bears Professor Mutui's signature. So you are the one who gave us the approval. Okay, let's go. So we are here to talk. So the 3 varieties, you'll see them. They are here. You'll see them. They are here. So we are talking about maize, and the reason why we are talking about maize is because of all this. So I just asked a question. Why are we importing maize? We are importing maize because of one of these. And if we don't get a solution to one of these, we'll continue importing maize. So right now, if you just walk 1 kilometer from just behind the market, they will cry about number 1. If you go to the other side, you start going up, they will cry about number 2. And also here, almost everybody will cry about number 2. If you go to the Rift Valley, they will cry about the weeds. And if you go to Bomet, they will cry about the maize rhizome necrosis disease. And if you talk to all the farmers, they will cry about the raw soil fertility. They are those ones that we already have the solution. The government is giving subsidy fertilizer. But the rest, I hope they can give also subsidy for drought, if it is possible. And also for the chemicals. Today I heard about the chemicals. So let's go to the next slide. So that is why we are here, and that is why we'll continue importing seed, maize, because of all those problems. And you can see those problems, somebody sat down and is tried to look at how important are they, and you can see all of them, they are there on top. They are the ones that are making us continue importing maize. And that is why even the one that we're importing, I don't know whether the last year, I know there is a maize that was trying to come and then it was told it is not fit somewhere in one of the border. I can't remember the country, maybe you remember. But you know, these are some of the same things. And it doesn't matter whom you are talking to. You'll get the same answers. So for that reason, let's move. We want to move fast. Let's go to this next slide. So you see, we want our farmers to be like this. These are happy farmers. This is one of the varieties that is very new in the market. And you can see the yield, and you can see the farmers, they are smiling. But one thing I can't guarantee these farmers, that these varieties, they are tolerant to foliar worm. Yes, it has some tolerance to drought. It is not tolerant to MLN. It is not tolerant to foliar worm. And it cannot do without fertilizer. And even if you plant, you have to weed. And if you come from where rains are good, where also we expect bumper harvest, also the weed also they want to get bumper harvest, so you must weed not less than 5 times. And if you also come from a place where also the insect also they want to get the bumper harvest, because also they are worried about the next generation and they want to make sure they survive, again you must spray not less than 3 times. So how can we help this farmer? By giving him this variety that he wants, but we don't change anything. And that is the reason we are here. And that is the biotech tool. And which is a very good tool, but we must use it wisely. Let's go. This is called ukames, from the word ukame. It's called ukames. It is sold by KALRO. And it is ukames, but it is ukamesing everywhere. This is njoro, by the way. And I hear even people from Kitale, those who want to do early harvesting, they are also trying to plant ukames. So if you come to this side, everybody is looking for it. But it has those challenges. Because when we were developing, we developed it for drought. But that time, I didn't consider Folamom. I didn't consider MRN. But somebody from Bomet, does he know that? Does the farmer knows that? So how do we get all these technologies, all these solutions into one? I think that is why we are here. Let's go. And that is why we have that good, that table here. Still try to talk about what can we do. So as we tried to push, you see, as we are down there, trying to bring the drought tolerant, trying to tell the farmers how to do best to get. But you see up there, there is another pressure. So how do we overcome this? So that we can get that good food that all of us we want, that is adequately available and is readily available and is also affordable. Let's move. Imekwama. So that is why we say we need to bring all these tools together. James has done the conventional breeding because that is quick, it is easy, it is understandable and all that. But is it enough? No. We need to bring another tool. Which is the tool? This is the biotech tool. Now we have been talking, so is biotech again enough? No. Let's bring the genome editing. So these are tools that we are trying to bring. When unaleta kidogo, the other one brings kidogo, then we are able to get the solution. Otherwise, and that is why we keep on saying, those people say biotechnology is a silver bullet. No, it is not. It is just one of the many tools, one of the many tools within our toolbox that we can use to get a solution. It is not a magic bullet. It is one of the many tools, and it cannot survive alone, and it cannot work alone. It must be supported by the other tools. That is all what this graph is telling us. So you bring this tool, inaleta 10%. You bring another tool, inafungua another 10%. Like that until we get to what we want. But none of these tools can survive alone. That's why we talk about the conventional, that we talk about the other molecular, that is why we'll talk all the other tools. They must work together to get that solution. Let's go. And as a result, we have been looking at what are the challenges that we have in these countries. So, and you'll see that we looked at it and we say, insect pest resistant. When, because in the drought, at least we are able, sometimes we can be able to get, we have some, at least we have some tolerant variety. I've just shown you one of the ukames. But it is not resistant to insect. So we said, then, how do we bring this? And we said, you see, I always tell people that scientists, they are not, yes, they are God creatures, but created creatures, but they normally look at things, how are things happening there in nature? Then you look at it and you see nature is going to take ages. So how do we get it in a quick way? And then nature is also controlling this in this way. We understand why that. And that is what insect does. And I keep on telling farmers, if you don't have any chemical, usirie kama shamba yako inatoshana na hii room. Chukua mchanga, weka kwa hiyo mahindi, haitakuliwa. Kinga Mungu aliweka kwa mchanga. But you are telling Martin to do that for 5 acres. Is it possible? The science now comes in there. So you come and help Martin, who is doing 5 acres, on how to use the same kinga in the soil to his 5 acres. And that is why the industry, the chemical industry, Ivan's talked about the chemical industry, crop protection. That is why they go and they look, what is that in the soil that is killing this mundudu? And then they package it and they put it in a bottle and they tell you, so instead of kuweka mchanga, eka 5, hii unapiga kidogo, alafu the wadudu are gone. But now also us, we also think again. So yes, Martin can afford to buy the chemical. Martin can afford to pay the mtu wa kupiga. But what about Kioko, who cannot afford? Amepanda mahindi, yes, na ni eka 5, hawezi weka mchanga. Hana pesa ya because for you to get good bumper harvest, you must spray 3 times. Hiyo dawa, for example, we normally say Escort, which is the most I normally recommend, is about 4,000 per liter kwa eka moja. And then you must spray wakati pia, remember nilisema everybody want to survive, even insect they want to survive. Hata when the weather is very good, also they are very happy. This is the time to maximize. Najua ukiongeza chakula, population inaongezeka, si ndio? Hata wadudu wako hivyo. So lazima pia ndio watazaana zaidi. So you'll have to spray 3 times. Now imagine you have bought 4,000 times 3, that is 12. Lipa mtu wa kupiga. Unafanya hiyo hesabu? Na tuseme ni watu wawili, kwa sababu kila mtu umpimie basi eka. Lazima umlipe maybe 500. Hiyo tuko karibu 13,000. Si ndio? So hiyo imeenda hivyo. So Kioko haezi afford hiyo. Lakini atangangana atalimia. So with that is where now we come in and we say, then how also do we, because as Kioko atasema, serikali saidi, hakuna pesa kwa mfuko. So that is why now the technology comes in. And that is why the scientists come and now they try to get that protection from the soil, that protection that is being sold as a chemical, and you put it directly in the maize. And the maize become self-protected. So Kioko will not worry about the insect anymore. Sawa sawa? And so that is the first technology. And that is why I said there is that thuricide. Go and read all, if PCPB is here, it will tell you all the thuricide chemicals, that is the active ingredient. And we are putting there. So then somebody come and say, you are putting poison in maize. Is there anything scientists has really done? Sini kurahisisha tu. Is it poison? Si mtu mwenye anatumia anaweka mchanga, mwenye anapiga dawa, are they not using the same? Vile tumefanya now, we have put it. So, and that is what we started with, because that time we had a big problem with the stem borers. The stem borers, they are the one that they eat a maize, and this is the kind of maize you'll get. Is it good? With all that, you'll see what Kioko will get by the end of the day. And then you'll say, it is not fit for consumption. Is it? So let's move. So this is the first technology. We tested it. We were able to come and develop the varieties, and we came up with the 3 varieties. These are the 3 varieties that I was talking about: WE 1259B, WE 205B, and WE 56B. So those varieties, we tested them. We took them to KEFIS. KEFIS tested them. Then we took them to NBA. NBA number 1, they said the technology is fit because they look at the safety. Na tumesema, tumetoa hiyo bakteria iko kwa mchanga. Nani hakukula mchanga hapa? Kwa sababu I know all of us, none of us come from State House. We must come from somewhere in the village. Na lazima tuli crawl. Na tukicrawl lazima bwana unakula mchanga. Na we are surviving, si ndio? So that is what biosafety NBA will look at. Is it safe? We demonstrated that. Then go ahead, KEFIS. Are they meeting the quality for the standard for a variety to be released? Yes. And the 3 varieties were released compared to the checks, what is in the market. And you can see the yield. So we are bringing almost over 30% yield advantage. And that is why the 3 varieties were released. And those are the varieties that we were given approval by both regulatory. But because of some reasons, they are not yet in the market. So, but we looked at it and we said, when we were doing all this, stem borer were the challenge that time. But now we say the fall armworm also came. So it's a feeding machine. We call it a feeding machine because you know the way the machine takes. It takes and ikito. That is how also fall armworm eats. You go to your maize and check. It will eat, and also there is a lot of frass. So it's a feeding machine. That is why you see fall armworm ikianguka kwako wiki moja, utakuwa unapeana history. If you come from where Kioko come from, watasema ni ucha, kuna mtu alitembea. None. Because that is why that's how the fall armworm is. It eats as it, because it want also to survive. So when the fall armworm came, we said, then we don't need this technology. We must get a technology that is, so we said the same bacteria, you can just, is just boost, sindio? So ni kama tu ile dose ya when you get a vaccine, sindio? Or when you go and get a drug. See all of us, we were injected with the COVID. Wakati COVID. Kukioka ulipata jabs ngapi? 2. Nani alipata 2? Hata me, I got 2. All of us, we got 2. There are those one who got 1. Why did the government say we need 2? Because the first one, they felt this one is still, you are still not stable enough to fight the disease. Indio. And that is why they told you, go for the second jab, so that to boost your strength to fight the disease. That is also what we did. We said for the fall armworm, we must, the same technology we are using to fight the stem borer, we'll use this, but now we just put another boost. Kama ile ya COVID, second jab. And that is why, if you go to the next slide, you'll see that is the technology that we are testing now. And this is that is why we call it the MON 8-9. So MON is like just like the way we call it, all of us, we have children, sindio? Si wote tuko na watoto? Si watoto wako wote wanatumia jina Mugira? Lakini si wote Mugira, sindio? Hata ukiuliza, ni wewe Mugira, sasa hutujui, but there is another name. So even on this technology is the same. So we normally test many, but the one that most responsive, you give the number. So that is why you see MON 8-9. That means there were many. And then 9, but with that 8-9, but 034 was the most appropriate. That's how we call it the name. So we bring, and that is why you can see now, tumeleta jab ya pili. Ya kwanza ile ya ingine yenye tulisema tumerelease 3, ilikuwa tu hiyo moja, cry1. That is the gene, the one that is bring the protection. And you see the other one is still the cry, so they are from the same source. But we bring the second jab to make sure you increase the immunity, just like the COVID, the way we did the COVID, sindio? We have ladies here. Si tunataka kupelekaga watoto immunization. Kuna immunization mnapelekaga mara ngapi? The same disease. Na anadungwa jab ngapi? Karibu kuna moja inadungwa kwa 3. Why? Because akidungwa ile ya kwanza ni kama hata polio, si ndio? Ni polio ndio inadungwa kwa 3. Kama ni gani? You know this thing we don't know, men. But anyway, that is the same thing. Unapeleka anadungwa ya pili, ya kwanza, anarudishwa ya pili, alafu anadungwa ya 3. Sasa akosa. So this is like the second jab now. So the same thing. So same source. But you make it strong. So we brought this and we said, now this one will help us. Now you see we have added the other challenge. The fall armworm is now there because that is now the main challenge. If you go to the farm around, kuna mtu atakwambia stem borer, hata wajui stem borer ni nini. Sasa wanakwambia kuna keunyo. When you are this side, they call it keunyo. Wakamba they call it keunyo. We keunyo kinakula mahindi kukula. Dawa ni nini? So that is the one. So, and that is the technology that we are testing. And now we are happy also because it's from the same bacteria. It is in the soil. All of us, we have been eating. It has been used as a chemical. NBA analyzed and said it is safe. We'll be testing it in NPT's National Performance Trial. Now in the maize that we want to go to the farmers with KEFIS starting March this year. Now, let's go to the next one now. And you can see, we did again the trials first. Lazima tuangalie. And you can see, in this one, you can see, ila ingine ilikuwa inaleta advantage ya ngapi? 30%. Sindio? Silikuwa inaleta 30%. So that means, hiyo 20% nani alikuwa anakula? Ni fall armworm, sindio? So now, we bring almost, this is on the drought. I don't know, I didn't have the data for the MON 8-9. Can you go back and see whether we have the data for MON 8-9? Yes. One slide. Back. Because you want to see the advantage. Yes, you can see. Not this one, the next one. No, I didn't put the data here. So if you look at this one is bringing almost 60% yield advantage compared to what we had in the previous. So that means fall armworm is still robbing us 30%, and still the quality is not as good as we want. Then we look at this and we said, yes, Kiboko is here. Nasema, sisi saa hii hata nyinyi wachaneni na wadudu kwanza. Najua wadudu mimi niko na shamba hii, naweza weka nini, naweza weka mchanga. Mahindi kwani mahindi 20 nitashindwa kuweka mchanga. Lakini maji sina, drought. So that is why we enter again to drought. And we said, let's look also use the technology to bring in drought. And you can see, hii mahindi ilikatwa maji kabla haijatoa kichwa. Mara nyingi mvua inapatia mahindi kabla haijatoa kichwa. Alafu unawacha ina survive. And you can see, wakati yenye haina kinga, so you are bringing almost more than 30% yield advantage. So right now, we are also working on this to make sure we combine with the one with the insect, so that we can have the drought and the insect protection together. Let's move. And that is the next, that is what we'll be working on from April. Let's go. So, but then, when we were talking to farmers, and when we are engaging stakeholders, because we like engaging the stakeholders, and I would like you to have a list of the stakeholders, and then when I finish, ask me any stakeholder that have involved, including the Caritas. I've been with the Caritas in Mombasa. The president of Caritas is Bishop Kivuva. Ametoka. He's still the one. No, he is the president of Caritas. Not Mombasa. I know he's the bishop in charge, but Caritas. There is a new one. I interacted with him, and he challenged me. Aliniambia Catholic kuna mashamba kubwa sana, na akaniambia wanatembeaga sana na wanakulaga hii vitu, na akaniambia next time don't call me, niletee mbegu mimi nipande hapo kwa hiyo shamba ya kanisa hapo, na nitatumia Wakristo, nitakusaidia Wakristo wataona. Si unaona niko na wateja au religious wenye mnasema wanasemekana wako na shida, ndio watu wako na shida. Yeah, they challenged me on that. So when we were talking with the farmers, then I said, when you talk to the farmers on this side and you don't mention about drought, and that is why I mentioned drought. So you see, I'm caring about the farmers on this side, because the challenge is drought. Walisema ni drought. So when I talk to the farmers that are within Embus all the way to Nakuru, au wako na mvua moderate, sindio, wanavuna mahindi mwezi wa 10 hapo hivyo, wao walisema shida ni insect. Si tumewatekea care. Alafu wanasema wakati mwingine, because when you are in Nakuru and you are in Rongai, do you know Nakuru and Rongai? Pale Sariga. Wakati mwingine kina umanaga hapo. Alafu kuna kuwa na drought, sindio? So you have catered for them, both pest and haya. Sasa si tunaenda mahali chakula inatoka, wasonigishu mahali shida, mvua sio hata wadudu hawajui yuko ni shida, hakuna shida wadudu. Kwa sababu wadudu, mvua ikiwa mingi wadudu wanaku, kwa sababu the fall armworm gets to the hole of the maize. Na unajua maji ikiroa pale, so itaku, they will not survive. So for them, they will tell you, wadudu wakati mwingine even in a season, they don't even spray. So lakini wakasema shida ni kwekwe. They said even if you weka, in fact they told me, unajua sisi hata nataka naombaga Mungu nisitoke hii dunia kama sijaenda Ukambani nione hiyo drought vile inakaaga. That is what people from Nandi and Uasin Gishu, they will tell you. They don't know what is drought. Ni kusikia wanasikiaga. So they said the problem is weed. And they told us if we want, bring us any technology that can help us manage weed. Because in Kitale, we do trials there. You don't weed less than 5 times. Weeding, ile literally, na kajembe. And that is why, if there is any place where herbicides are misused, ni huko. Because they are trying everything. And now even they are trying, I was told, they are even spraying oil. Lakini, sasa hawakuwa wanajua. Ukispray oil, by the way, inauaga nyasi. Lakini itakaa miaka na hautaiona kuona kitu ingine hapo inamea. And also even whatever you plant there doesn't do well. Sasa juzi niliambiwa na mtu, hii makwekwe imetusumbua. Now enda utafute vinegar. So wamama mchunge vinegar, nasikia nyinyi ndio mnaitumia pale jikoni. Wanaume wamejua ati vinegar sijui na si soda ash, baking powder. Si unapika mandazi, siko bado jikoni. Sasa nasikia vinegar, baking soda, baking powder na chumvi na sukari. Unasikia? You hear, they know. That one, if you spray, and wanasema these are cheap. Sasa somebody was telling me, instead of using a chemical that is costing, actually was doing me a budget of 50 to spray, you can cut to 5,000 if you use those things. Anyway, I don't know whether it is working. The farmers are the best researchers. So you can see how they are struggling. Today I was coming, I listened to the radio. Actually, there is still an outcry. Herbicide, in fact, wanasema herbicides are being misused. And actually they are saying they are crying to the government to ban most of them. So when these guys, when we went there, and you see this photo, isi ati nilipanda mahindi ati nikawachilia. Hapana, this one I took it from a farmer's field. So wakasema their problem is weeds. Now here is Karanja. He's speaking about maize. Nikikuja Ukambani, drought. Insect. Ukienda the other side, wewe serikali hakuna kitu inafanya. You have heard those things. Ni kama serikali ilitusahau, is not caring about our, because their problem is not being addressed. You go to Bomet, they will not even listen to you until you tell them you have a solution for MRN, the maize necrosis disease. So who are we? We have to look for a way to bring all these technologies together. Remember, we have tested insect, it is working. We have tested drought, it is working. Now, we need to test the one for the weed. And then, we need to put all this technology into one product. So that when we go to the farmer, we are safe. We don't avail, today we have this, farmer is not a researcher. A research tool. So you are supposed to provide technology. So that is why now, together with Bayer, we said, let's test this one. Now we combined. We have the weed and we have the insect together. So Folamum is solved, it is working. Weed is also working. And you can see we sprayed. We planted all the maize, including those ones that are with the farmers. And then you don't, when I planted this trial first last season, even Patrick was kept on asking, James, when are you spraying? We are spraying tomorrow. I'll pass by. And then after 1 week, James, I'm passing by. And then even the guys that I told them to spray were supervised by Abel, who is seated here. And then even us, we were not sure. Because these guys, we have never seen where you spray. You know how we apply herbicide? Unless there is non-selective. The one you don't, ile ni kwekwe, hiyo ndio tu unapigaga hivi hata na tractor, si ndio? But the one that is non-selective, you must make sure that day you wake up very early, you pray to God, you eat very good breakfast, and then you prepare, and you don't even go to the field in a hurry. You go slowly, so that, and then when you are spraying, even if Kiboko calls you, you cannot even turn. Because you must make sure that you don't burn your maize, because immediately it is touched, dead. And you have seen those things. You know? I know there is a farmer who did that and he burned the 2 acres of his maize. Kwa sababu hakupeana instruction za kutosha. Yeye alifikiria tu ni kama. So, but this one, we had also the same challenge. So but this one now, the maize has the protection for the weed. So you just spray, and then the one that has protection, it survives. The one that has the protection also, the insect, both in them, it is still there. So one technology, two technology in the same background. Now we are looking forward to bring now the drought. I was telling Kiboko this morning, by next year, if you are going to, because this one we are not going to repeat. This one is now, we are moving to NBA to share the data. They see their safety, and then we move to KEFIS and avail the product. Next year, if you come back, I want you to come and see there, because this is research. I should now be able to see drought, insect, weed, combined. See hiyo si tukua tumefanya kazi. And then after that, now I'll retire. See, I'll have solved the problem of maize. And other problems will come. We know we are praying. You know, we are 85% Christian in this country. No other problem is coming for the maize farmers. So this is the technology that you are going to see in the field. You'll be able to see this. What is there? You'll see those one that you'll see a field like the one you see there. You'll see the one that is like this, and you'll see the one that is also there, is infested with the insect. You'll see even the one, and you'll be able to see that product that can survive the insect, and it can survive the weeds. That is the technology that you are going to see, because we believe seeing is believing. I hope, and that is why I said, by the end of the day, I look forward for you to tell us how do we move on. Let's go to the last slide. So in the last slide, I came with I looked at when I listened to who is here, and I knew Mushiri is here, and KEFIS is also here. And I had a message to them so that they can take it home to their CEOs, that compliance is a must. We agree with you. Compliance is a must. And we must carefully and strictly adhere to all the government regulations and all the protocols. NEMA is here. We are bound by the rule of law. That's why we work with NBA. That's why we work with KEFIS. And when we are going to the environment, we come to you. And then we also make sure that we correct the data. And when we go there, you'll see. And I want you to go to the field, because you'll be allowed to get in with a pen and a paper. And you think of any data that we are not correcting. And we will be ready to correct that data so that we can answer all the questions. So because we want to ensure that also we correct all the evidences, so that when I stand here and you ask me a question, those evidences, they are there, the data is there, and it is admissible. And that data must, even if Karanja tomorrow is not there, somebody must come back and trace back and say, yes, this was done. And because we know we have the religious people, then this one is also ethically corrected, and it adheres to all the national regulations. And that is why Bayer is here. That is why CGA is here. That's why AATF is here. That's why NEMA is here. That's why KALRO is here. That's why KEFIS is here. What's why NBA is here. That's why all of us, we are here. Because none of us can walk alone. We want to make a change in this country. And whether you are a private, whether you are a public, we must work together. Collaboration is key. So we must work together, and we cannot achieve anything if we work alone. And because I see a lot of cameras here, and I know cameras communicate, and I know there are a lot of communications that is going to come from here, we must communicate effectively So communicate with care. So when you are sharing the message, share the message. Don't say GMO. For me, actually, I have no word like GMO. And you have reason. Did I mention the word GMO? I tried my best. I don't mention GMO because I don't know what is GMO. Me, I know I'm working with a trait to control pest, drought, and weed. Is that GMO? When the market, when it will come there, I will call it Ukames Plus. Because Ukames, drought. Plus, because I'm bringing something else, which is insect resistant. Is there any GMO? No. So we must communicate with care. The communicators are here, Florida. Julius is here. You can correct me if I used any jargon, I used any scientific complicated terms. I have not even mentioned the word DNA because I know DNA is not important here. That is, I'll communicate when I'm communicating to the science. So let's use the language. And number two, let's listen and let's align and make sure that whatever we are coming with it is something that is bringing a solution. And the solution here is the national priority. And the national priority, it is on food and nutrition care for us and for the nation. Thank you very much. We recognize everybody. And if you go to the next one, we work for the government. We are government agencies. So all this is the team that we work with. All you look at those guys. Yoko, can you look at those guys? Can you see all of them? So can you tell me where they come from? You don't know. But you see, they have come together to work as a team to get a solution. That is how that picture, I've put it there so that to mimic what we are here. When we get to the field, all of us, I'll make sure, all of you, you'll be also the same. And I will also take the photo. And that is the photo that I'll take to use next time in my presentation. And I will challenge that time, because I know Evans will be there, I will challenge him to tell me who is there. Because you cannot tell. You see, these guys, they are joined together with a purpose. So there is, can you tell who is there from Bayer? Anybody from Bayer? Do you see, can you tell who is from Bayer from there? Sorry? You because you know him. But can you tell me this is Bayer? I can see his look. Can you tell he's from Bayer? Can you tell who is there from Kefis? Can you tell me from anybody from Bayer, from NBA? Any farmer? Can you tell me the farmer from Western? Who representing the Lower Eastern? But all of them are joined together with a purpose. So that is why we are here, and that is the collaboration that we want. So that by the end of the day, when we go out, we speak the same language. And that is the communication that said we communicate with care. Otherwise, thank you very much. I wish you all the best. We'll talk more when we get to the field, because that is where the eyes will be. Will now be, the eyes now will be responsible there. And we don't want the mouth to be responsible there. We just want the eyes, so that you see and you take it home yourself. Thank you very much. God bless you.
James, thank you very much for that great presentation. I know there are questions somebody will want to ask, but in our program, it was intentional that we don't ask questions now until we exhaust why we came here. There is a field that might answer some of the questions that you want to ask here. So instead of us sitting here and discussing what we have not seen in the field, and then James will give another long story about what you are going to see in the field, we'd rather go and see, and then we come and discuss afterwards. If all we agree with us, we can proceed that way. Before we leave, I know we are going to take tea. And I don't want some of our colleagues to feel cold or they don't feel like part of us. Because maybe we want to address ourselves with the name. You know, you feel good when somebody addresses you with your name, eh? Isindio, I'll request the new team that entered in the house to tell us their names, their institutions, and the expectations of when you receive the invitation. Karibu sana.
Hello, good morning. Yeah, all protocols observed. My name is Francisca Mwanzia. I'm coming from Machakos County, Department of Agriculture. I'm in charge of the directorate. And I'm here on my behalf and that of the Department of Executive, the CEO and the CEC. And I'm accompanied by one of the technical officers. My expectation was to go to field and see the trials. Actually, nimepita mpaka nikaenda kwa shamba. I didn't expect a conference kind of meeting. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Eunice Sakong. I work with Madam in the Director's Office, Machakos County Department of Agriculture and Food Security. I'm the crops officer. So my expectation was actually to go to the field, see the trial and the solution that it's bringing to our farmers.
Thank you, colleagues. And actually you are on point. We are going to the field. But the reason why we usually start here, especially for the academia, for those who can understand the English, and for those who can understand to have the interest of what happened when they were doing in the lab, we usually give that plenary discussion from the in-house, and then we shall proceed to the field. It becomes easier than James going to speak so much there, and then at the end of the day, we get exhausted with the sun. You miss even to ask some points. Sometimes other members become bored. So we want to exhaust most of the things when we are here, so that ukifika huko, inakuwa sasa ni macho ndio inafanya, you just observe and ask a question which you have observed, not what you have asked. This one is more of theory, where we came from, the partnership, where did Bayer do. Even if we had enough chance, Bayer will tell us, how did they come up with that technology in the lab? Which we usually give that chance only that we shorten, so that we just say that we have. But in the real sense, we are supposed even to know how did Bayer develop that technology and how we are going to use it in the country and how are they going to work with KALRO. Those details, I think that at that point, we are coming to plenary, where some of those questions are coming to come up, and that is where we are coming to ask. So it is a whole rounded, you are okay, you are at home, feel welcomed. We have discussed a number of things. You are not late. We'll still have a chance to come back now and discuss matters of what you really want to ask, what you want to understand when you are back from the field. We'll want to go to the field while it is still early before it will become so hot, but before we go, we need to be energized, and we need to have a cup of tea, and then we shall proceed. Maybe you'll just ask 30 minutes, we'll do. So it is now 11:30. That means you shall leave from here at 12, exactly 12. And we shall be there at for 1 hour, James, exactly 1 hour. So by 1, we are supposed to be coming back here and have another discussion based on what we have observed and what we have heard James saying. When you are comfortably listening and writing, because we say that at least we need you to write. You are going to brief your bosses. Na atakwambia sasa utaenda tu kuongea na yeye. You need to take something written and let them commit. Either in terms of back to office report and a briefing to him. And we want also him to understand what is he required to do when it comes to this technology. Otherwise, thank you so much. We can stand up so that we can pray for the tea and even pray for the other food. I think tuliomba, Evans tuliomba na uliombea chakula yote yenye tunakula hapa. We can stand, please. Let's stand. Okay, let's pray. Father, in the name of Jesus, we want to thank you even as we are preparing to go to the field. Lord, may you be with us. May you guide us. May you understand whatever we are going to see there. And even whatever we have heard, we ask for understanding. As we take the cup of tea, as we shall be coming back to take lunch also, Lord, we ask that you may bless the food, sanctify, purify to your word, and provide for those who don't have. For in Jesus' name we have prayed and believe. Amen. For the members who don't have means of transport,